Dear students, welcome to School of Finance and Commerce, Galgotias University. So in this subject management accounting, today I would be discussing marginal costing and absorption costing. It is one of the topic of unit 3. So let us start now. The prerequisites for this presentation should be that you should have basic understanding of management accounting. You should also know the basic types of costs, that is fixed costs, variable costs, total cost, all these things you should know. The objectives of this presentation are this will going to explain you the basic concept of marginal costing and absorption costing. You will also get to know the practical applicability and difference between both these techniques of costing. The contents of our presentation would be as follows. First of all, I will start with the meaning of marginal costing. Then I will move on to the contribution and profit. Then I will discuss the contribution sales ratio. Then I will also discuss the features, advantages and limitations of marginal costing. After that, we will come on to the absorption costing. Then we will discuss the features, advantages and limitations of absorption costing. Marginal cost is defined as the change in aggregate costs due to change in the volume of production by 1 unit. The marginal cost of a product is its variable cost. Marginal cost per unit of a product consists of direct material, direct labor, direct expenses and variable portion of other overheads. Now marginal costing. Marginal costing is a very useful technique of costing for decision making. In marginal costing, costs are segregated into fixed costs and variable costs. Now we will going to discuss some of the definitions of marginal costing. So the first definition was given by Institute of Cost and Management Accountants. It is the ascertainment by differentiating between fixed costs, the variable costs of marginal costs and of the effect on profit of changes in volume or type of output. Similarly, second definition of marginal costing was given by Dr. Joseph. They said that marginal costing is a technique of determining the amount of change in the aggregate costs due to an increase of 1 unit over the existing level of production. As such, it arises from the production of additional increments of output. Now the third definition of marginal costing given by Betty. Marginal costing is a technique of cost accounting which pays special attention to the behavior of costs with changes in the volume of output. Now these are the main formulas of marginal costing. The first formula says that, as you all know, that sales is equal to fixed costs plus variable costs plus profit. Now we can also say that if we deduct variable costs from sales, then we are left with fixed cost and profit. So this fixed cost and profit combining together known as contribution. So there are two formulas of contribution. One is sales minus variable cost and the second is fixed cost plus profit. The third important formula is contribution minus fixed cost will give you profit. If you deduct fixed cost from contribution, you will get the amount of profit. So these are the important formulas of marginal costing. Now contribution. Contribution is actually the difference between the total sales value and the marginal cost of sales, as we discussed in the previous slide. Total contribution will be equal to sales minus variable costs, or we can also say Fixed cost plus profit will give us total contribution. It is one of the central concepts of marginal costing. However, the term contribution is really short for describing contribution towards covering fixed overheads and making the profit. Now the contribution sales ratio. This ratio shows the relationship between sales and contribution. The contribution margin per unit expressed as a percentage of the selling price per unit. Contribution to sales ratio is calculated as CS ratio or PV ratio, and it is calculated as contribution divided by sales into 100, or we can also calculate it by using the another formula, that is change in contribution whole divided by change in sales into 100. This second formula is used when the data of more than 1 year is given. Now the features of marginal costing. The main features of marginal costing are as follows. Number 1, all costs are categorized into fixed and variable costs. Variable cost per unit is same at any level of activity. Fixed costs remain constant in total regardless of changes in volume. Number 2 is fixed costs are considered period costs and are not included in product cost. Only variable costs are considered as product cost. And number 3 is stock of work in progress and finished goods are valued at marginal cost of production. The fourth feature of marginal costing is in marginal process costing, products are transferred from one process to another and are valued at marginal costs only. The fifth feature of marginal costing is prices are determined with reference to marginal cost and contribution margin. Now in continuation, the sixth feature of marginal costing is profitability of department products etc. is determined with reference to their contribution margin. Next feature is in accounting marginal cost, the overhead control account is the cost ledger, represents only the variable overhead. Fixed costs are taken as expenses in the profit and loss account and thus excluded from costs. Next, point number 8 is presentation of data is oriented to highlight the total contribution and contribution from each product. And last feature of marginal costing is the difference in the magnitude of opening stock and closing stock does not affect the unit cost of production, since all the product costs are variable costs. Now the advantages of marginal costing. The first advantage is fixed costs are period costs in nature and it should be charged to the concerned period irrespective of the quantum or level of production or sale. The second advantage says that inclusion of fixed cost in the product cost distorts the comparability of products at different volumes and disturbs control actions. It highlights the significance of fixed costs on profits. In a highly competitive situation, it may be wise to take an order which covers marginal costs and makes some contribution towards fixed costs rather than lose the order. Now the third advantage of marginal costing is the difficulty in apportionment and absorption of fixed cost to product cost will not exist in contribution approach, and it is much easier for accounting and determination of product costs. The fourth advantage of marginal costing is marginal cost method is simple in application and is easy for exercise of cost control. It is more informative and simple to understand. Fifth advantage is it helps the management with more appropriate information in taking vital business decisions like make or buy, subcontracting, export order pricing, pricing under recession, continue or discontinue our product division, selection of suitable product mix, etc. Now the sixth advantage of marginal costing says that profit volume analysis is facilitated by the use of break-even charts and profit volume graphs and so on. Next, seventh advantage is the analysis of contribution per key factor or limiting resource is a useful aid in budgeting and production planning. The eighth advantage is pricing decisions can be based on contribution levels of individual products. Next advantage is the profit and loss statement is not distorted by changes in stock levels. Stock valuations are not burdened with a share of fixed overhead. So profits reflects sales volume rather than production volume. Next is responsibility accounting is more effective when based on marginal costing because managers can identify their responsibilities more clearly when fixed overhead is not charged arbitrarily to their departments or divisions. Now the marginal costing has certain limitations also, so let us discuss these limitations one by one. The very first limitation is difficulty may be experienced in trying to separate fixed and variable elements of overhead costs. Unless this can be done with reasonable accuracy, marginal costing cannot be very accurate. Application of common sense and judgment will be very much necessary. Second is the misuse of marginal costing approach may result in setting selling price which do not allow for the full recovery of overhead. This may be most likely in times of depression or increasing competitor with prices set to undercut competitors may not allow for a reasonable contribution margin. Next limitation is the main assumption of marginal costing is that variable cost per unit will be same at any level of activity. This is only partly true within a limited range of activity. With a major change in activity, there may be considerable change in the rates and prices of material due to shortage of material, shortage of skilled labor, concessions of bulk purchase, increased transportation costs, changes in productivity of men and materials, etc. Next limitation is the assumption that fixed costs remain constant in total regardless of changes in volume will be correct up to a certain level of outputs. Some fixed costs are liable to change from one period to another. For example, salaries bill may go up because of annual increments or due to change in the pay rates and due to pay structure. If there is a substantial drop in activity, management may take immediate action to cut the fixed costs by retrenchment of staff, renting office premises, warehouses, taken on lease may be given up, etc. Now further, the next limitation is increased automation and mechanization has resulted the reduction in labor costs and increased fixed costs like installation, maintenance and operation costs, depreciation of machinery. The use of marginal costing creates a tendency to disregard the need to recover costs through product pricing. For long run continuity of the business, it is not good. Assets have to be replaced in the long run. Next is exclusion of fixed overhead from costs may lead to erroneous conclusions. It may create problems in intra-firm comparison, higher demand for salaries and other benefits by employees, higher demand for tax by the government authorities, etc. Next is the exclusion of fixed overhead from inventory cost does not constitute an accepted accounting procedure and therefore adherence to marginal costing will involve deviation from accepted accounting practices. And the last limitation is the income tax authorities do not recognize the marginal cost for inventory valuation. Now the meaning of absorption costing. Absorption costing refers to the ascertainment of costs after they have been incurred. Here, fixed costs as well as variable costs are allotted to cost units and total overheads are absorbed by actual or normal activity level. Absorption costing is called total or historical or traditional or cost plus costing. It is not suitable for exercising cost control as there is substantial time gap between occurrence of expenditure and reporting of information. Absorption costing is also referred to as full costing. It is a costing technique in which all manufacturing costs, that is fixed costs and variable costs, are considered as cost of production and are used in determining the cost of goods manufactured and inventories. The fixed production costs are treated as part of the actual production costs. Stock and cost of goods manufactured are valued on a full production cost basis. The fixed overhead is viewed as product cost and is charged to products. According to CIMA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, they define the absorption costing as absorption costing is the process of charging all costs, that is both variable costs and fixed cost, to operations, process or products. Now the objectives of absorption costing. Absorption costing has these 5 objectives. Number 1 is to know direct and indirect costs separately. Number 2 is to know department wise participation in costs. Then number 3 is to know the overall cost of the product. Next, number 4 is to analyze the data related to production and to confirm that the resources are properly used or not. And the last is to find out and fixing the sale price to be quoted in the market. Now the main features of absorption costing. The main features of absorption costing are as under. Number 1, period costs. In period costs, all administration, selling and distribution overheads are treated as period costs. Therefore, these are written off against the profits in the period in which they arise. Next, number 2 is classification on functional basis. All costs are classified on functional basis as production costs, administration costs, selling costs, distribution costs. Number 3 is treatment as product costs. All variable manufacturing costs and fixed production overheads are treated as product costs and hence they are charged to operation, processes or products. Now the advantages of absorption costing. Number 1 advantage is based on accrual concepts. It conforms to the accrual concept by matching revenue with costs for a certain accounting period. Number 2 is more consciousness about costs and services. The apportionment and allocation of fixed manufacturing overheads to cost centers make executives more conscious about costs and services rendered. Number 3 is revelation of inefficient use of production resources. Analysis of over and under absorbed overheads reveals any inefficient use of production resources. Next, 4th is covering all costs. Sales are equal to or more than the budgeted level of activity. It ensures that all the costs are covered. Number 5 is no requirement of separation of costs. Separation of costs into fixed and variable components is not at all needed. Next, number 6 is compliance with accounting standards. Valuation of stock complies within the accounting standards and fixed manufacturing costs are absorbed into stocks. Now the limitations of absorption costing. The very first limitation is of little use for decision making. Under absorption costing, collection and presentation of cost data is not of much use for decision making. The reason is the process of assigning product costs a reasonable share of fixed overhead obscures cost volume profit relationship. Second limitation is reduction in practical utility. This method employs highly arbitrary method of apportionment of overhead. This tends to bring reduction in the practical utility of cost data for control purposes. Third limitation is unsound practice. Under absorption costing, fixed cost relating to closing stock is carried forward to the next year. In the same way, fixed cost relating to the opening stock is charged to current year instead of previous year. Thus, under this method, all the fixed cost is not charged against the revenue of the year in which they are incurred. It is an unsound practice. Next limitation is costs not highlighted. Under absorption costing, behavioral pattern of cost is not highlighted. As such, many situations which can be utilized under marginal costing are likely to unnoticed in absorption costing. Now the difference between absorption costing and marginal costing. So the very first point is on the basis of product costing. On the basis of product costing, under absorption costing, all costs whether fixed or variable are treated as product costs. The cost unit are made to bear the burden of full costs even though fixed costs are period costs and have no relevance to current operations. Under variable or marginal costing, however, only variable costs are treated as product costs. Second is under or over absorption of overheads. In absorption costing, fixed manufacturing overheads are charged to the production on the basis of estimated overhead rate and therefore some over or under absorption of overhead is normally found. While in variable costing, the fixed overheads are charged on actual basis and hence no under or over absorption arises. Third point of differentiation is on the basis of inventory valuation. In absorption costing, inventory is valued at full manufacturing costs, including both fixed costs and variable costs. This has the effect of carrying over fixed costs from one period to another, along with the closing stock. This distorts the trading results and vitiates the cost comparison. Under the marginal costing technique, inventories are valued at marginal cost. Since no part of fixed manufacturing costs are included in the value of closing inventories, there is no problem of carrying over fixed costs from one period to another and the consequent distortion in the trading results. Now, on the basis of profit concept, under absorption costing, the profit is computed and decisions are taken on that basis, while under variable costing, contribution is the key to decision making. Now these are some of the self-assessment questions. You all have to solve these questions. These all questions are from this lecture only. Question number 1 is define marginal costing, also discuss its advantages and limitations. Question number 2 is differentiate between contribution and profit. Question number 3 is discuss in detail the features of marginal costing. Then question number 4 is define absorption costing, also discuss its advantages and limitation. Then fifth question is discuss in detail the objectives of absorption costing. And the last question is differentiate between marginal costing and absorption costing. These are the references from where the material has been taken up to prepare this lecture. Thank you so much for patience listening. You all can feel free to contact me if anything is not clear to any one of you. Thank you once again.